Today we're going to talk about the front squat. Front squats are an absolutely essential exercise for Olympic weightlifters because this is the way you get out of the bottom of a clean. Front squats probably don't need to be used by people doing general strength and conditioning programs because of the fact that it leaves out a lot of muscle mass, and we'll explain that in a minute. Front squats appeared in the first edition of Practical Programming as one of our preferred assistance exercises. Second edition amended that recommendation to 80% squats, 80% loaded squats. Say 80%, I think it was 80% of what we used for fives on Monday on those intermediate programs that required a different exercise on Wednesday. And the reason for this is the front squat places the knee angle and the back angle in a position such that the hamstring is shortened. In our version of the back squat, we have designed the movement to specifically involve as much muscle mass over as great a range of motion as we possibly can get it, thus allowing you to use the most weight possible over that range of motion and therefore use the exercise to get strong. Front squats don't do that as effectively, and that's why we don't use them in any of these exercise programs anymore. Front squats have a vertical back angle and a very closed knee angle, as we'll see in a second. This position places the hamstrings in a contracted, shortened position. And since it's contracted and shortened, it's already short, and therefore it can't contract more to contribute to the hip extension out of the bottom. Hip extension is really not possible with a very, very vertical back angle anyway. So what we obviously the hips extend, but most of the work's already been done because the angle is already pretty much open. The thing that you've got to remember about the front squats is that they are absolutely essential for Olympic weightlifters. Olympic weightlifters must train the front squat because this is how you get out of the bottom of the squat, and so, as usually is the case with a lot of the Olympic weightlifting coaches, these movements are not technically described very well, so we're going to try to step in and fill up that hole for you. There are some specific things you can do to improve the amount of weight you front squat and the efficiency with which you do it, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Samer Al-Madani is here. He's our ambassador of goodwill from the Middle East, and he's here today to help us with illustrating the differences between the front and the back squat and the way in which to most efficiently do the front squat. Samer, come up to the bar. We're going to first off start with the front squat. I want you to take your clean grip on the bar, just about like that. Good. Thumbs around, just like that. Go under the bar. Place the bar on the meat of the deltoids, okay? Just like that. Elbows are up in this position. The flexed shoulder produces a contracted, frontal deltoid, and this is where the barbell has to sit. Step on back. When you front squat, you want to be away far enough from the rack that if you drop it, you don't destroy the equipment, okay? Now, elbows up is a key. But more important as a key is chest up, okay? Reach for my hand, lift the chest. Notice what that does to the upper back. If you're doing a front squat correctly, the first few times you do it, you will be sore right through here. Because here is where the brunt of the work is done in terms of keeping the back angle vertical. It starts right here and goes down. So lifting the chest right there like that, when you lift up the chest, what you're doing is upper back work. You're contracting the fibers of the upper reaches of the spinal erectors, the rib eyes right in through here between the shoulder blades. Chest up is the cue for that. Elbows up reinforces this position, okay? Now, take your normal squat stance, a little bit wider than that. Toes will be pointed out way more than that. Good. We've got to get the knees out of the way. This toe, rotate that heel in a little bit. There you go, more than that. There you go. Now, what we have to do in order to produce a vertical back angle in the front squat is we have to get the knee angle to go forward. Vertical back in the front squat is critical to the movement, because if the back angle is not vertical, the barbell will fall in the floor. All squats have to balance the barbell over the middle of the foot. So in a front squat, the bar has to be in balance over the middle of the foot with the barbell in front of the position it would occupy were it on the back. This requires a vertical back angle. And the vertical back angle requirement for the front squat is what makes it so completely different from the back squat in terms of the amount of muscle mass it utilizes at the bottom of the movement. All right, chest up again, elbows up. Now, I want you to squat down. Eyeballs will be, put them down about like this. Hit the blue line on the wall. Now, I want you to think about two things. Shoving the knees forward and out, leading forward with the knees. This is another major point of departure from back squat. Knees go forward first. This thing stays vertical. In fact, if you want to think about sliding up and down a wall with your back, that might be a useful picture in your mind. Okay? So, elbows up, chest up, big breath, knees forward, squat. Good. Now, up. And when you come up, you're going to lead with the chest. The first thing that comes up out of the bottom is the chest. Again, back squats are way different because back squats lead with the hips. Front squats lead with chest. Elbows, again, reinforce that chest lead. Again, big breath, down, this time don't stop. Chest up. That's exactly what they look like. Don't lean the head back. Don't move your cervical spine around when you lift weights. That's not a good idea. Again, lead out of the hole with the chest. Chest up. That's exactly what they look like. Another couple of reps. Knees out. If you're doing this correctly, the knees will drag the hips forward and enable you to stay vertical. Again. It's like that. Now don't settle back onto your heels at the bottom. The weight stays over the middle of the foot. And once again, it's easy to do these things more correctly with a little bit heavier weight racket. Now, let's illustrate the difference between this position that we have just seen in video and a correct back squat, so that you can clearly see the differences in the back angle, the hip angle, and the knee angle of the two movements. Go ahead. Bar goes low on the back. We teach in the book. Stance is the same. Toes are out. And this time, we are leading here with the hips. So, eyeballs are down, lean over, squat. Reaching back and out with the knees. And notice that out of the bottom, the initial drive is from the hips again. One of the biggest problems we have teaching the back squat like this is because most people come into this exercise with a picture in their mind of the squat that is really similar to the front squat. They have a picture of the torso as vertical in the back squat, and this is the thing we most encounter when we have to deprogram that other movement pattern and instill this more useful one. We use the back squat because it works more muscle mass. Now watch. Again, note the fact that the knee angle is more open, the hip angle is more closed. This stretches out the hamstring into a longer position at the bottom of the exercise and enables it to work over a greater range of contraction. Again, note the difference in the back angle. Note the resulting difference in the hip angle and the knee angle. This is the back squat, the squat we call it, and it's led out of here, racket, and it is in stark contrast to the front squat. So let's put a little weight on the bar and follow Sommer as he goes on up to a heavy set of 3. Okay, 60 on the bar. Now we're back in the front squat position. Let's notice the difference between the back squat that you just saw and this front squat again. Note that the back angle is the premier feature of this exercise. The back angle must be vertical. When the bar gets heavy, it has to be in balance over the midfoot. The only way to keep it that way is to keep the back vertical, and the way we keep the back vertical is the big trick on the front squat. Chest is up, knees are forward, squat. Just a triple, and the chest leads out of the bottom, making the quads The adductors and the glutes do all of the work since the hamstrings are busy merely maintaining this vertical back angle. Again, that time you sat back at the bottom. You feel that? Stay forward, stay forward. Stay in the middle of the foot. Last one. There it is. That's exactly right. Rack it. Okay? Let's go up to 80 and see if we can hold it together. Okay, at 80 kilos, you're going to have to remember not to let your hips drop back like they did on the second rep of the previous set. The idea is to stay vertical the whole time, because if you settle your hips back like that, you're taking the balance away from the midfoot, moving it back on the heel, or you may even be dropping it forward. I was standing so close to you I didn't see. But the thing has got to stay vertical. Barbell has to stay in balance. Okay, because when it gets heavy and you do something like that, you have a chance of losing the bar forward. So chest up, elbows up. Stay in control of your hip. Knees go forward the whole time. Shove them forward and out. Big giant breath. More control. Be a little slower this time. You're not ready to go fast yet. Look down a little lower. There. Good. Knees forward. Lift the chest. That looked pretty good. Again. Chest up. Good. Rack it. Now you're leading up with the chest, and I think you're cueing yourself to do that by looking up at the sky. It would be much better, much safer in the long run for you to learn how to do that by shoving the chest up into the chin, instead of raising the chin up and trying to lead up out of the hole with your head. Okay? Lead here. And you can easily do that by thinking about driving the chest up into the chin. It'll keep the whole spine tighter and make this movement a lot more productive in the long run. That's at 80. Let's go to 100 and see what happens. Okay? 3 reps here. 100 kilos. What do you weigh?
180.
180, so that's a little over body weight for a triple. Okay, as it gets heavier, you've got to start paying more and more attention to chest up. Okay, leading out of the hole with the chest. Because what you're going to want to do is default to the hips. Okay, you've got to stay out of your hips since we're front squat. Okay, stay out of the hips. Drive chest up. Let's go. Okay, toes out more than that, more than that. Knees forward and out. Lead into the bottom with the knees. Now chest up. Good. Again. Big air. Chest up. Good. Stay over the midfoot. You're back a little bit on that. Drive chest up. Good. Rack it. Okay, 110 is going to be a little experimental. We'll see if it's there. Okay, get this now. Get this now. Don't get off balance at the bottom of this thing. Stay in your toes. You may have to think toes. It's middle of the foot, but if you're on the heel, toes is the correction. Chest is up. Knees are forward. Let's go. Strong now. Let's get it. Toes out more than that. More than you want them to be. Good. Lead forward with the knees. Look down. Let's go. Chest up. You got these. You got these. More knees. More knees. That was better. Last one now. Chest is up. Lead with the chest. Best one of the 3. Good. Rack it. Rack it. Real nice. So you can clearly see the difference between front and back squat. Front squat involves vertical back angles, more closed knee angle, more open hip angle, and consequentially less hamstring involvement. We use the front squat when it is appropriate, that is for competitive Olympic weightlifters. If this is you, this is the way they're done. Thanks.